Hi guys, how are you? Are you fine? I hope you are listening to me, okay? And okay, we had a little bit of, you know, a mess here because you know, my glass it was broken, so I had to change it, okay? So again, it's not alcohol, it's soda, okay? It's Coca-Cola, and I'm not receiving money from from Coca-Cola to say that I am drinking it. I'm just saying it. Otherwise, you're going to think that it's wine, and it's not. It's not alcohol. Okay. So again, I didn't I didn't say anything beforehand about this live, but you're going to have a live today, yeah. And again, guys, I would like you to, in your house, in your home right now, to adjust your volume, because if it's too loud or, on the other hand, it's not so loud or you're not can please adjust it, okay? Because here for me I think it's good. So I think for you guys it's being uh you know uh in a volume that is not it's good enough for both of us. One thing that I want to say is that the position of my camera, again, you know, it's not the best one, but as I tell you guys, my computer, oh my goodness. Yeah, I need a new one. Yeah, I know it. But until I can't get it, we have to work with what we have in our hands. We gotta do what we gotta do. Yeah. So today we are going to talk about Christopher Nolan and his movie themes. Okay. Today is not about the rising signs. Okay, it's another playlist. Today is about movie reviews. Yeah. And there is a long time that I don't do a movie review in English. And if you take a look at my playlist about movies, in English, you're going to see that in general, it's not a movie review. It's more a general and at the same time focus on main theme about that movie, or concerning that movie. And today we are going to talk about Christopher Nolan's movie themes. Why? Because recently he has done movies that, if we start observing the theme of his movies, you're going to see that they are very connected to one another. And it's very symbolic. There is a lot of, no, there are, in fact, a lot of symbolisms in his movies. And sometimes when we when we watch a movie from Christopher Nolan's, for the first time, I think that it's hard for us to get all the information that we are receiving from his movies. Some people think that his movies are terrible. Yeah. There is a lot of people who hate his style. But at the same time, some people love his style. Yeah. And this video is not for people who loves or people who, it's not for people who love or hate his movie style. It's for both of you guys, you know? Why? Because I'm going to talk about his movie themes in general. And at the same time, I will try to highlight some things that are very specific. Because if you start to talk about 2010, you are going to see that in 2010 he was, starting to approach more and more these kind of things that I want to highlight in this video, which are technology, nanotechnology, and besides that, transcendency and human and machine and time, all of these aspects, And it's interesting because we have a progression in his movie themes. If we observe in his movie Transcendency, from Transcendency to Tenet, we have a progression of subjects, of issues that he is trying to get our attention to these kinds of elements, because there is no way to deny that that technology is part of our life. There is no way to say that we are going to live a life without our mobiles. We are going to live a life without our gadgets, without our computers. You can move to an isolated place, you can move to a place that is very distant from any kind of, but even so, I think that's going to be very hard for this person to survive without any kind of gadget, any kind of electronic stuff, because they are part of our lives nowadays. And it's undeniable that they are here. And we have to deal with it, because we are now, 2020, and this year, if you observe 2020, it's interesting to say it this way, 2020, because the year itself, you can read it, from the right to the left, or to the left, or from the left to the right. You see what I mean? And it's a palindrome. And it's interesting that in in the word tenet, we have the same thing, you know? You can read from right to the left or from left to the right, and it's going to be the same. So I think that when we think that Christopher Nolan decided to release this movie in this year, it's not, uh, it's not something like, oh, by chance, Of course, that this year is a very good opportunity to dispose this kind of film, because the name of the movie is a representation of what kind of year we are living. Okay. Uh, I promised to myself that I would not be very mystic and esoteric and, in this life. I promised to myself that I will try to be, but I can sense right now that when I start to talk about the words and about the possibility of reading the words in reverse, I was already entering in all these elements that Nolan is working in his films, that is very related to things that are very abstract. But he puts all these elements in a movie that in general is considered science fiction or action, or and when you have very abstract elements in a movie that is an action movie, it's very interesting because you're trying to illustrate, in action, something that it's much more related to something that you can't describe in words, you can't describe in action, but he tries to do it. And sometimes he's very successful. And that's why he's a very good director, in my opinion. But sometimes it's not so easy because the things, they are very, how can I say? They are in a group. I will try to put this in a simple way. They belong to a certain group of ideas, of concepts that demands from you a very abstract mind. But he uses these elements in an action movie, for example. And when he does it, he's trying to paint, he's trying to illustrate for us what is, in fact, an abstract art. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Let's think right. I will try to make it clear. When we think about painting, there are a lot of types of painting or visual works. So if you think about the last century, not the last century, but, because we are right in a new century. Okay. If you think about the 19th century and the kind of painting that was in the beginning of the 19th, ending of 18th century and beginning of the 19th. The painting was very different from the kind of painting that was emerging, you know, in the middle of 19s, that was more abstract, but abstract in the sense that uh, sometimes you look at the painting and you can feel whatever you want from that painting, because it's not like a photograph, or it's not like an image of a person who was painted by an artist, you know. It's not a, it's not easy to understand what is going on, because uh, it's not only one thing. It's not like the image of a person, it's not like the image of a horse, it's not like a landscape. It's something that demands from you an abstract mind, and maybe what you're going to get from that painting is going to be totally different from what another person will feel from that painting. Or some people, they can get moved by that painting in a way that you are not going to get, or you're not going to feel in that way. So we are talking about things that are very abstract. Okay. Okay. So I am talking a lot. Yeah, I started like. So when we think about abstract things, it's very complicated to describe them because their nature is not defined. And at the same time, when something is very abstract, you can, in a certain way, feel that there is a sense of mystery. There is a sense of something that is hidden, that is not so easy and clear. It's not crystal clear. It's something that has a little bit of magic in it. You see what I mean? Because when you look at a painting that is very abstract, there is a certain magic that is there, and you are trying to connect yourself to that kind of magic, if you want to use the word magic, because I'm talking about magic here in the sense of something that is hidden, something that demands you a kind of imagination or a kind of thinking that is not only rational, but it's much more connected to your senses and to your feelings and to your guts. You see what I mean? So, what I'm trying to tell you guys in this introduction is that sometimes people say, oh my goodness, Nolan's movies are so intricate, are so complicated. But to be very honest with you guys, it's just because it's not explicit. It's not something that is already done. Uh, I feel that he is asking us to partake into his movies, you know. I will start this. I thought that I would start it with the movie Transcendency, but to be very honest, Transcendence, sorry. But to be very honest, I realized that I have to start talking about, you know, Inception. Yeah, I have to start talking about Inception. Yeah, there is no way. I was trying to skip talking about Inception because everybody knows Inception very well, and it's a movie that is already, famous, and everybody knows it's with Leonardo DiCaprio, and everybody knows about the movie and about the dreams and about the possibility of building, dreams and to get the main information in your mind because you are building layers and layers of something. But okay, let's start talking about Inception. It's interesting because in Portuguese, the word that was translated was a origem. If we translate Portuguese from Portuguese to English, this movie would be called The Origin. Yeah, and not Inception. Okay, but if you go and you look at your dictionary, what is the my bangs? Sorry, my bangs here. What is the meaning of the word inception? Okay, it's kind of related. By the way, it's very related to one another, the words origin and inception. Because inception means that something is going to be initiated. There is an inception, there is there is something, a structure that will will become to exist. Okay. I don't know if you're getting what I'm trying to say. So in this movie, we have a group of people, and they are very good. They are architectures, yeah, but they are not the kind of architectures that we think, in daily life. They are going to build things in people's mind, yeah, and they do it as a dream. So they are going to put an idea in the mind of that person that's going to make this person change a preconception or a pre-idea. That's good. A pre-idea. Okay, previous idea. So in this movie, we have this group of people, and they know that there is a certain degree of deepness inside of this thing of building something inside your mind through dreams. So they create 3 levels of deepness. And the third one, which is the deepest one, but watch out. In the movie, we know that there is one that is even deeper than the third level. And that place, which could be called as a dark place, because people can get lost in that place. So it's kind of a limbo, where people can get lost. Remember this, you know? Yeah. So DiCaprio's wife, that I don't remember his name now in the movie, she was lost there because she wanted to stay there and whatever. If you saw the movie, if you watch it, you know what I am talking about. So, guys, it's interesting because this deepness inside our mind, inside our conscious, it's very real. It's not something like, oh, because we know that our mind is, I'm going to talk about myself, about dreams. And of course you have felt this. I'm sure about it. When you have a dream, some people, they dream and they don't know that they are dreaming, which is the majority of people, of course. If you are dreaming and you don't know that you are dreaming, okay, you are not weird. You are very, that's the majority of people. Some people, they dream and they become a little bit confused because they have, sometimes during the dream they know that they are dreaming, but then they forget again and they just dream, and they have this flash of noticing that they are dreaming. And there is, a group of people, or a lot of people, there are a lot of people. I am talking about groups because it's easier for you to structure in your mind, okay? But some people, they dream and they know that they are dreaming and they enjoy the dream if the dream is good, and they just get away of the dream if the dream is bad. You are going to say, are you crazy, Jacqueline? No, I'm not crazy. You can talk to a lot of people, and some people, they will tell you, yeah, I have vivid dreams. I know when I am dreaming, and I enjoy my dreaming, my dream, by the way. And when the dream is not good, I just, bye-bye, let's change it. So for you that never had this experience of having vivid dreams, I can tell you that it's very good. And maybe it's not your moment or your time, because Nolan, he likes to talk about time a lot, okay? Yeah, if you think about his movies, he's always talking about time and how time is something else, how time is something out of our matrix, because time is just, there is no time. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, I said that it's, when I chose this subject, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't know how it's going to start and how it's going to end, but I gotta talk about it. It's something that I need to talk about it. And you guys, you just go with the flow. Because, yeah, it's a little bit weird, and we are going to talk about weird stuff. We are talking about Christopher Nolan movies, so there is no way to not get, it's impossible to get very normal talking about it. Okay. But we have to think, what is normal? Okay, anyway. But I was talking about vivid dreams, okay? Yeah. So if you never had this, okay. My father, for example, I was talking to him another day, and he said that no, when I am dreaming, I don't know that I am dreaming. I'm just dreaming. Sometimes I don't remember my dream. And I was talking with my nephew, and he said, yes, he told me, yes, sometimes I know that I am dreaming. And this is so good because when I know that I am dreaming, I kind of, if the dream is good, I am like, yeah, it's like an adventure. And when I was a child, I remember that it was so easy for me to have a dream. I had a dream, for example, and then I just got up, and then I just woke up, and then I had that feeling of, oh, I want to go back to that dream because it was so good. And then I continued to sleep, and I entered again in that dream, in that same dream, and that ability of doing that, that I didn't know that it was an ability, okay? It was so good because sometimes the dream was, a fantastic one. Because when we are just children, and kids, we have very colorful dreams, and very, in general, our dreams are very vivid in a way that they are full of action and colors, and but the sad thing is that you can lose this ability when you get older, if you had when it was just a child. And there was a time in my life that I really felt that I couldn't do that anymore. And I was like, oh, what happened? And then I realized that at that time in my life, I was I was living very materialistic things. And when I am saying materialistic, I am talking about I was not living, or I was not practicing, I was not giving a certain time to what is considered abstract. So it's very weird, to think that we have to give to ourselves the opportunity to practice the abstract capacity I am trying to say we have to give to ourselves the time to just let our minds go with the flow. And when we do it, it's like meditation. That's why some people, they have a lot of difficulty. They say, oh, I can't meditate. I can't. People say, think about nothing. And when they say think about nothing, I am already thinking about something. Yeah, you see? It's like empty your mind. Okay, I am trying to empty my mind. I am trying to empty my mind. Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah, the conflict. Oh, yeah, it's great. So, because it's not like that, it's not like that. It's impossible that someone says to you, empty your mind, and you are going to empty your mind, because it's not something that it's out of you. It's something that comes from within. Okay? And in this movie Inception, what they do is very, very, very complicated, because they have to create an idea in your mind that was not created by your your subconscious. You know what I mean? It was not created by your mind, by your process of thinking. I am trying to use very easy words here, because I want to show you guys how Christopher Nolan has been working with very abstract things in a not in a way that's not so abstract, and how difficult it is, and why some people, they say that his movies are complicated, because that's the reason. He's trying to get it's like he's trying to get something that you can't get, but at the same time he's trying to make it something that you can touch, you can see. It's hard. It's a hard working. And so, okay, I was saying that in this moving section we have this start of this idea, Yeah, we have the start of this idea of working with something that you cannot touch and trying to make it real. Okay, I will use this word. And it's very interesting because the movie is fantastic, because he shows us how flexible our minds can be, the way that this group, the way that they work with the mind of the person is very interesting, because they have to create a storyline. Yeah, they have to create a storyline that is according to the life of the person. Because, of course, if a person is an engineer, or if a person is a musician, the storyline of these two people, these two kind of persons, is going to be totally different because they live different kinds of lives. They yeah they imagine if you are a musician, your life is totally different from somebody who is an engineer or a you know a teacher. Okay, you can say it. You can choose whatever, you can choose any kind of profession. I'm just saying that we have a very particular life, each one of us. And when we think about it, we can relate again to Tenet. Because in Tenet, the movie, we don't know the name of the main character, but we know that he is the protagonist, which is fantastic because he is the protagonist. And we are the protagonists of our lives. We are the main character. There is no way of you saying, the main character of my life is my pet or my boyfriend, or no, because it's your life. You can share the life. You can share your life with these people, with your pets, with your family, with your friends. But each one of us, we have our own path, our own storyline. And in these movies, Inception, we know that in this movie, to create an idea, a new kind of thinking in a person's mind is very hard, because you have to be very accurate to what kind of life that this person is living and how he acts, how he moves, how he thinks about the things that happen in life. So they study the person. They study the person. I'm thinking about, yes, they study the person. They have to analyze the person in this movie very well, because they have to know every movement, how the person is going to react. And so they have sectors in this movie, this group of people. Some of them, they are good at learning the movements of the person. Another group is good at building, the settings in the mind inside of these people, inside of this person's mind. And if you see the movie again, if you watch the movie again, you're going to see how it's complex to try to insert an idea inside of a person's mind, and to do it in a way that this person is going to think that he thought that, and not that this kind of thinking that he's having was something that was just placed in his mind. Whoa. What? Oh my goodness. Guys, I don't know if you are following me, but I hope so. Yeah. Oh my goodness. And I am just talking about Inception. Yeah. Okay. I am trying to. Okay. So now we know how complicated it is to make a person believe that what he or she thinks is an original idea. It's not something that he was told to think in that way or to have this kind of thinking about something. And if we think a little bit deeper, what they do in that movie is just a kind of handling. And when I say handling, I am saying in a way that very, they are, it's a way of handling a person. I don't have another word to use it. It's very, you are like if the person was you know a doll, not a doll, but you know what I mean. If the person is something, is an object, and you are just handling the object in the way that you want. So in this movie, Inception, uh, in the end, which is a open-ended, open-ended. The end is open-ended. Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. But do you understand what I? Oh, okay. So if we think about it, we don't know if that thing, if that object that he chose to take with him, to remind him that he was dreaming, and he was not, that was not real life, it was a dream. We don't know if the thing is going to fall in the ground. We don't know. The thing is just spinning around in the end. So there is this question, underneath that scene. The question is he dreaming? Is he inside of a inside of a dream? Or is he, okay, or he's not dreaming anymore? There is this question in the end, because we don't know for sure. And some people, they may get very angry when we have, this kind of ending in a movie that we don't have yes or no answers, But to be very honest with you guys, was it important to know if he was still dreaming or if he was already, in real life, doing what he wanted to do, that it was being with, you know, he was eager to stay with his little kids, you know. So, was it important? Because to be very honest, that's not what Nolan's want us to get from this movie. I have this feeling, you know, that he was not. The thing is, are you dreaming now or are you living your real life? You know, when in Buddhism, when people say that the butterfly, the butterfly's dream and our dream. I think that it Buddhist? I don't know. I think it is. When they say that we don't know for sure if we are a dream of a butterfly, of we are our, or the butterfly is in our dreams. It's kind of this. I don't remember exactly the words, but it's like, you know, maybe you are just dreaming and you don't know. Maybe this life is a series of structures, a series of settings, a series of ideas, a series of things that people has already told you to do it in this way and you don't know it. You're just following the program. So that's that is, I'm not going to say that it is how can I say, the general aspect of the movie Inception, but it is what we can really think. Of course, you can think different things, but that's what I want to say about that movie, Inception. Because he's working with all these things a lot, you know, since Memento, to be honest. But I don't want to go there, okay, because it's a lot of things. But then, okay, we have The Dark Knight Rises, which is very good, but I'm not going to talk about this movie because it's a hero movie. Of course, he gave a different look uh, to this, you know, to this story, I think. But I don't want to talk about this movie because it's a different kind of approach. It's a hero movie, okay? Of course, you can say, oh, it's a dark version of Batman, you know, blah blah blah. Oh, all right, but I don't want to talk about this movie. I want to talk about the group or the series of movies that he's talking about, this idea of time, of matrix, of transcendency, and of how time can be flexible if you think that we are living, you know. Okay, so let's move on. The next one, okay, in 2014, we have Transcendence and Interstellar. Oh, Interstellar. Oh my goodness, so good, Interstellar. Yeah, but Transcendence, I gotta tell you guys, Transcendence was a move, uh, that was, I don't know what happened. You know, it's not so famous as the other ones. People said that the movie was boring and they expected more from the movie, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, I gotta tell you, it's not a movie that has all you know, how can I say, the flamboyant, you know, the flamboyant, all the glamour that, uh, that Inception and Interstellar got, in terms of production. But if you have already, seen Transcendence, you're going to observe that the movie theme of technology, of mind, is still going on. But in this movie, we have, oh my goodness. I gotta tell you guys, okay? Just a sec. Okay. We have John Depp. Okay. We have John Depp, and he's, Johnny, okay, John Deep. We have Johnny Depp, okay, and the poster of the movie, it says, "Yesterday, Dr. Will Castor was only human." It's so, yeah, like, yesterday, Dr. Will Castor was only human, but today he is more than a human. He's a machine. No, he's more than a machine because he is the transcendence. Okay. Yeah, kind of, you're getting the vibe of the movie, okay? So I'm going to tell you, yeah, in short lines, okay? So it's from Wikipedia, okay? Dr. Will Castor is a scientist who researches the nature of sapiens, including artificial intelligence. He and his team work to create a sentient computer, okay? He predicts that such a computer will create a technological singularity, or in his words, transcendence. His wife, Evelyn, which is played by Rebecca Hall, great actress, is also a scientist and helps him with his work. Following one of Will's presentations, an anti-technology terrorist group called Revolutionary Independence from Technology, RIFT, shoots Will with a polonium-laced bullet and carries out a series of events. Okay. So a series of attacks on a laboratory this laboratory, by the way, is the one that is working with artificial intelligence. And Will is given no more than a month to live because he was, yeah. In desperation, Evelyn, oh, she uses a very, a kind of technology that they have in this movie that she was able to connect Will's mind to a computer, creating a new kind of technology, a transcendence. So now Will uses his newfound vast capabilities to build a technological utopia in a remote desert town called Brightwood, where he, uses, his abilities now, in medicine, energy, biology, and of course, nanotechnology. So in this movie, we have a scientist, Will, and Will, he believes that the future is technology, yeah, the future is technology. The future is AI, okay? There is no way out. So he thinks that you can create a singularity or in a computer. You can create a computer that will think like a human being, if you have already watched a lot of movies that talk about AI, you know what I am talking about. I am talking about this capacity of creating a computer that thinks by his own. He doesn't need inputs and outputs from humans. He's just going to be, like us. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So he believes in it deeply in this movie. And he calls this capacity of having this sentient computer, he calls it as transcendence. So in his mind, it's going to be very good when it happens because this computer will help us to do things that we cannot do as human beings, especially using nanotechnology in our body, in our human body, to save us from, disease or to do another things, like biotechnology, things like that. You know what I mean, okay? So the thing is, he is the person who was, who had the chance to be the first one to have this experience because his mind, his wife, she did it. She just put his mind inside of a computer. She was able to do it. And when she did it, the computer was not a computer anymore. The computer was Will's mind talking, Will's mind acting, Will's mind commanding. But the thing in this movie is it Will's mind or is it another thing, a different thing that was created in this transcendence process. Did you get it? The question is, when Will's mind became a computer program, and the computer program now is singular because he can think, he's able to think, he's able to do things, not because somebody is asking or is doing the thing. He's doing the things by his own, he has the capacity now. He has this singularity. He's a sentient computer. It's a human's mind in a computer. It's only the hardware, you can say, that is a machine. But the software was now replaced by a human's mind. And the question in this movie is, if it happens, that computer, that thing that is not human, but is not entirely a computer, is that thing? What is that thing? What is that thing? And it's very interesting because in this movie, we can see a lot of aspects going on, like his wife doesn't feel anymore that voice that speaks to her from that computer, that it is from her husband. She feels that maybe the feelings, maybe the human part was lost in the process. She doesn't feel anymore that voice, that thing is her husband, Will. But at the same time, the machine that now is Will is all the time saying that he is the same person, but he's not a person anymore. That's the conflict. He's not a person, but he tries to tell her that he is the same person. Yeah, I understand now why some people hate this movie, because when we think about this kind of things, it's kind of it's kind of, oh my goodness, okay, let's laugh about it. Let's laugh at it, okay? But to be very honest, guys, I am telling you this in 2020, 2020. But to be very honest, maybe what we are saying now, it's going to be a reality, And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like, oh, you gotta be very worried about the future because we are going to be replaced by machines. Our mind is going to, like Altered Carbon. That series, Altered Carbon. Yes, Altered Carbon. Yeah. Like, oh, I can change, the body. It's like my mind is still the same and I can change the body. I can just change my body and continue to exist. Or if you have already watched the series, Upload. Oh, Upload is very good. Upload is very good. You gotta see it. Or if you have, if you watch it, Devs. Oh, Devs is fantastic. Because it's the same idea. That's the thing that everybody now is working in Hollywood. All kinds of movies. They treat this theme of being able to get our mind and put our mind inside a program, and we are going to live forever because now we don't have the restriction of the body, because we just have our mind working. And in this movie, when it happens, there is a lot of conflict. And so there is one thing that show us that maybe it's not going to be, so good. And maybe it is something very, because in this movie, things just go insane because Dr. Will, sorry, guys, sorry. Sorry. I'm thirsty. Okay. I'm talking too much, yes, but I gotta talk. Yeah. So, because we are talking about Nolan's movies, and so in this movie, Dr. Will, when he became a machine, and now he has, this all these abilities and capabilities and blah 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 blah. The thing is that the control that he has now is so big that he started to control everybody that got in touch with his technology. It's like this. The person who was treated by him using, the nanotechnology that he has, now this person has a small part of the big data, the big computer that is, Dr. Will now. So Dr. Will is this big computer that now can control even human beings that had contact with him. You gotta watch the movie to understand better, But so the thing is, when he started to control human beings, wait a minute. He's playing God, but he's playing not a God that we are used to understand as a God, because we know, we were taught that we have the free will. Everybody knows, that God gives us the free will. So God, if you believe in God, okay, if you don't believe in God, at least you believe that you are the person who has the command of your life, who is in charge of your life. That is something that everybody has in common. We believe that we are in charge in our lives, that we have the command, that we are the ones, that we are the protagonists. Tenet. Okay, again. So, when Dr. Will, the great computer, the sentient computer, is sentient the word? Yes, the sentient computer, the computer that has the singularity, okay, that has the tech singularity, is now controlling people. So we have a bad God. It's not an evil God, okay? Do you know what I mean? Is the God, the kind of God that is not considered God, is the opposite, okay? Because we just, forget about your free will, forget about you are not in charge anymore. Dr. Will is in charge of your will. I love it, Nolan is very good. Dr. Will is in charge of your will. You know what I mean? He uses it a lot. I love it that he loves to play with the words, I love it. And so when it happens, come on. What kind of transcendency is we are looking at? Because, okay, what we understand as transcendence, we think about nirvana, okay? It's the nirvana. It's when you have your transcendency, it's when you are aware of all your potential, of all your capacity. You are now, when you think about transcendency, we think about someone that now is not just a person who is, we think about someone who is now a wise man, is the guru, is the path of Christ, is the enlightenment. No. So, in this movie, there is this question for us. When Dr. Will became a machine, of course, a sentient computer, did he lose his human side? Did he lose the sparkle that makes us what is called humanity? Did he lose the ability of empathy? Because now he has so much power in his hands, not hands, because he doesn't have a hand. You got it. That he is controlling people's will. You see, the power is so big that he was not, for him, it was not good enough just to save people. Because he saw that people commit mistakes. And so he said, no, I will control this person because I will make something better than what this person will probably make with his or her life. You know what I mean? It's like if God decided, oh my goodness, human beings, you are so stupid. Look what you're doing with your planet, with everything. So now you don't have your free will. I will control your lives, okay? And you're going to do this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. You know, that's what's going on with Dr. Will thinking. He thinks that if he controls that people, he's going to do something better than that people was able to do for his own life, for his own goodness, for his own, But who is Dr. Will to judge what is right or wrong for that person? So the things in this movie in the end is just whoa, because I'm not going to tell you the end of the movie because maybe you didn't see it, But that's the question, It's like, because I know that this movie is not so famous, so you gotta watch it, and see what I am telling you. So I'm not going to tell the end because Dr. Will, he's like, okay, I know I lost all my control, because I start controlling people. But I thought that it was good for them, and it's just a mess in the end of the movie, because his wife, she kind of understand that what's going on, because it's like Lucy, this movie, Lucy. In the end, Lucy, she achieved a status that, but in that movie, it was different. She didn't want to control human beings. It was different, okay? But that's the question of this movie, A sentient computer, who has all the power, who has all the abilities. If our minds, they are inside of this kind of machine, and we now can think about all the possibilities. We know every single path because we just have the data, baby. So we know what's going to be right, wrong, what's not going to function well. So when we have all these in our hands, what we are going to be, we are going to lose the thing that makes us human beings, that is just living and not knowing about the future, because the future is the unknown. So that's the movie Transcendence. Okay, now I need water. So, Christopher Nolan, he is showing us, and through his action sci-fi movies, he's asking us the same question. You know, sometimes the question can enter in a different perspective, but it is increasing. You know, it's like in the beginning it was just an idea. Now you're thinking about, you know, if we become, you know, if we have all these answers. Imagine if all of a sudden you have your you just receive, you know, a report that tells all your background, that has the description of your DNA so accurate that you can predict that you're going to have this or that problem in your health, or you have all this info, all this data about you. And you now have all the knowledge. Would you change something? Of course, you would change something. Imagine if you know that you're going to have a problem, that you're going to have a such disease, that you're going to, you know, that if you get married with this person, you're going to have this kind of baby, and this kind of baby can have this kind of problem. And if you change the person, you can have another baby, and this baby is not going to have this problem. And then, God, this is crazy. This is madness. But we are going to a certain degree of high technology that what I am telling you, it's not craziness. It's a real possibility, you know, that maybe you are not going to leave, but maybe your grandson or your granddaughter, maybe that it's going to be their life, their everyday. So imagine if you have all the answers, life is going to be boring because you have all the answers. And that is what happens with Dr. Will in the end of the movie. He knows everything. So he got so bored that he decided to control the humanity. So, but controlling the humanity was boring too, because there is a scene in the movie that we know that it doesn't matter for him anymore. You know, he has all the answers. So he just, you know, I'm not going to tell you the end of the movie. Okay, but you know what I mean? Life is going to be boring. You are just, you know, why are you going to have all these, you know, dreams and expectations, you know, for what's going to happen tomorrow, if you already know what is going to happen tomorrow, because you know you have all this data? So we are going to be So if you think that staying at home, you know, during this, I can't say the name of the, because they can, you know, but we are, you know, we are in quarantine and some people are not, Okay, let's not, I don't want to create a, but okay, if you are feeling tired and boring, and if you are like, oh my goodness, I can't stay at home anymore, because my days, they are the same, every day is the same thing, every day is the same thing, if you have reached this status, this pattern, whatever, this mood, okay, let's say a mood of, oh my goodness, my day is the same, I gotta tell you, imagine if you know all the answers, if you have all these info about you, guy, oh, girl, it's going to be a quarantine forever. Not because of a virus, but because you don't have to expect for anything anymore, because you know how it's going to be. So, is it the future? What kind of future is that? I'm just making questions, I'm just asking you. We are just thinking out loud here, because that's what Nolan is doing in his movies. He's been doing it. He's asking us to think about it. We have Interstellar. In this movie, planet Earth, okay, so they have to look for another planet because, and when they have this adventure of looking for another planet, another place in the galaxy, it's a beautiful movie. Yes, it's so beautiful. It's a great movie, Interstellar. I love it. But in the end, they were so tired that they realized that they just needed to love. They just needed to love itself. Not itself, themselves. Because I'm talking about human race. Yes. Because, that scene that the kid was an old woman and the father was a young person, and they are talking to each other. It was like we were searching for things that were just inside of us. How stupid we are. We should care about our planets. We should planet. Okay, we should care about our planet. We should care about our everyday. We should care about it. But instead of it, we were reaching things that were so far away, so distant from us, that we just, and in the end, it doesn't really matter. No, I remember this song, Okay, let me tell you about Interstellar. Interstellar. Okay, Wikipedia. Set in a dystopian future where humanity is struggling to survive. The film follows a group of astronauts who travel through a wormhole. Yeah, of course. Near Saturn, in search of a new home for mankind. Hmm. Guys, everybody who is in my channel already already knows that I talk about Donnie Darko when I want to explain what is a wormhole. So if you want to understand perfectly using a movie, by the way, a very good movie, go and watch Donnie Darko, because the movie is all about the wormhole, the wormhole and how. Okay. So for you guys that already know about the wormhole, so they travel through a wormhole near Saturn. Saturn, okay? Saturn, the planet. I don't know because I am talking already 1 hour and 30 minutes, okay? And I want to talk about Tenet. So I don't know if I will enter the aspect of why they need to travel through a wormhole near Saturn. Because it's so important to highlight that it is near Saturn. But I don't know if you're going to have time to understand all the implications of using the planet Saturn, because I have a playlist about rising signs. And when I will talk about people, like Capricorn rising that is ruled by Saturn, I will talk a lot about Saturn. And to talk about Saturn, all right. But I will just say that there is this idea, I'm going to try to be very general. There is this idea that Saturn is related to the one archetype that rules our world as we know it. I don't know if I was clear enough, because it's something that for some people it's very clear, but for some people it may seem a voodoo, magical, esoteric crap. And for some people, it will be very, oh yeah, it's right. So that's why I don't want to say why they had to emphasize that the film follows a group of astronauts who travel through a wormhole near Saturn. But let's just understand that it was Nolan's, of course. he used Saturn because of the implications of using Saturn, and not Jupiter, and not the moon, and not, Mercury, and not Pluto, for example. he had to use Saturn because Saturn is the great archetype of the ruler of our planet Earth. It's a little bit tricky because you're going to ask me, but Saturn is a planet? So you're telling me that Saturn is a planet who rules another planet, Earth? Let's just remember that Saturn is the representation of, in astrology and in some esoteric science, if I can say, if you understand that there is an esoteric science, we understand that Saturn is the representation of time. He's the one who holds the clock. He's the one who holds the clock. He's the one holding the clock of our matrix. Okay. I think that it's enough to say that. Okay, I don't want to enter in this aspect. Otherwise, there is thousands of planets though. Yeah. But when we are talking about Saturn, we are talking about the great ruler. We are talking about the one who holds the clock of our matrix. You know what I mean? Okay. I'm not talking about the source. I'm not talking about the big source. I'm talking about our matrix. Okay? And I don't want to go deep because I'm going to talk about Tenet, and because in my another playlist, when I talk about the rising signs, I will talk about Saturn. And then I will go deep there because people who watch in general my playlist about the rising signs, they love this thing, about esoteric stuff. And people who in general watch this playlist that I will put this video, this live, they just like movies and they are not into the esoteric and the occult stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why I don't want to. Man, I gotta tell you, it's deep. Oh my goodness, it's deep. Yeah, I gotta tell you. I love Nolan's movie because all his movies, they are in a certain progression. I'm from Brazil. That's why my accent is like this. I don't know if you were asking. There is a person here asking me, okay, guys, so I'm answering. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can understand, if you can understand that Nolan's movie themes, they are increasing. He's talking about certain things that he wants us to be aware of certain things, but he doesn't tell you. You gotta go deep, you gotta dive in to understand all the symbolisms, all the things that is hidden, in all in all of this, his actions, because the movie, his movies are considered sci-fi or an action movie. But you see, there is a lot of things that are so philosophical, are so uh, hidden. It's what we call esoteric science, but you know, it's the mystery. It's about things that are abstract, and it's very hard to put these things in a movie, especially in an action movie. But he does it, you know, and he does it in a way that I think that's very good, to be honest. Although it's not going to be easy for everybody to understand it at first time. Okay? So I skipped the thing to go deeper about talking Saturn, okay? Yeah. But my Saturn is good. My Saturn is in Libra, so okay. All right. Let's forget about this a little bit, okay? So when we are talking about Interstellar, uh, it's a beautiful movie because in the end, they discover that all the things that they were looking for outer, they were inner. So the scene that his kid, his daughter is at home and she's playing with an imaginary friend, and they met, and this friend, this hidden friend that she cannot see, is her father in a parallel, if I can say it, universe. But I don't want to say universe, reality, okay? In a different reality. So it's so beautiful because the idea of having different realities happening at the same time, it's so difficult for a lot of people to picture this. I was trying to talk to a person other day, and I was trying to talk to this person about it, about, have you ever imagined if, and the person started to look at me like, oh, here comes the crazy Jack. And I was like, oh my goodness, I can't talk to people. I can't, because, they look at me if I was the mad, the crazy lady with the cats, By the way, I have a cat. I love cats. And my cat is black. But anyway, it's not important now. But, okay. I was talking about it, and I felt that it was very difficult to imagine that we are living a reality now, but maybe there are a lot of realities occurring at the same time, because what makes the person don't understand these things happen, is the word time. That's what I want to say. The word time, word time. Picture this, time. Because when you think about time, you think about the hours. You think about a sequence of hours. You think about a series of events that they are happening very well, like it's 1 hour, but when you think about different realities, you cannot think about time as you picture the word time in your mind. Because now time is abstract. Time doesn't exist anymore. What is time if you have a lot of realities going on? So, in this movie, Interstellar, the most important thing, in my opinion, is that he starts to talk about the thing of forgetting about time as you think about time, because there is the scene of the father playing with his daughter in another reality, and the time's totally different. And then there is the scene that she's now older than him, and he is talking to her, and now he is the one that is younger. No, so the you see, Nolan is starting to make us think that time is not as we think. Maybe you gotta think a little bit more. You gotta think different. You gotta understand that what is time? Another question, okay? So he's asking us, he's asking us. And I don't know if when you watch a movie like that, in the end, you have all these questions, or if you just think, oh, it was a great, yeah, I had fun. Nah, it was good. Great job, Nolan. I don't know. But in my case, I am always looking from different perspectives, So now we thank God. Okay. Now we have to talk about Tenet. Now we are entering the crazy idea of there is no time at all. Time. What is time? You can just enter in another corridor, in another time, in another place. And when you enter this new reality, the time, as you know, is the opposite, And so we have the word Tenet, that, as I said, you can read it from right to the left or from left to the right, and it's not going to make a difference, because Now Nolan is doing something very, when I watch, I gotta tell you guys, I know about the Saturn uh, square. Of course, that I don't have the answers. Don't ask me, Jack, what's the answer of the no. I know because as I told you guys a lot of times, I like to study a lot. I like these things, And the first time that I had a contact with the Saturn square, I was so young. I can't even remember. I just like it a lot because I like to, since I was a child, I like to read the things in different ways. Yeah, I know it will sound crazy again, but what can I do? That's me, Jacqueline, and I can't deny my nature. So, since I was a child, for me, it was normal to read the words like I was always, for example, suppose you have a word, pen, P-E-N. When I was a little child, I just looked at this word and I was in my mind making a lot of trying different positions from the letters, trying to read backwards, trying to try to see if it was possible to create another word from that word. It was normal for me. I know that it sounds a little bit crazy. I know that some people do this and they are not going to tell. They are not going to say, I know, yeah, I use it to do it too, but people don't say it out loud because, you're going to sound a little, But to be very honest, I am 40. Yes, I am 40 years old. So I don't care anymore if you're going to call me crazy. I don't care anymore. I had this time in my life, when I was called crazy and I was kind of sensitive to this, but now call me crazy if you want, baby. I know that I am crazy. But this world is crazy. This world is crazy, baby. And you gotta know it. But okay, it's your business. It's your pathway. Just go on. So for me, it was normal, to do this kind of thing. So when I saw that people were like, oh, the title of this movie is so fantastic, so fabulous. Oh my goodness, you can read it backwards. It's the same word. In my case, I was like, is Nolan going to talk about the Saturn square? Is he going to do it? Really? Man, is he going to do it? How is he going to do it? It's so complicated. And he did it, And I gotta tell you, I was like, I don't think this movie is going to be good. But when I watch it, I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, you got it. Because all the elements of the Saturn square is there on our face. And I was crazy trying to to create the image. And I was trying to, it was like the movie is a very good enigma. It's a puzzle because the Saturn square, Sator, Sator square. The Saturn square. I'm going to say this Saturn square because I think it's more okay. You're going to understand better. The Saturn square is a big puzzle, and since the humanity is considered humanity, there are a lot of versions of how this square appeared. Like what is the origin of the Saturn square? It was in Greece. Was it in Egyptian culture? There is this thing, this mystical aura that nobody knows the truth about the origin of the Saturn square. But everybody knows that the Saturn square is inside of many cultures, So it's like it's something very mystic because we don't know the origin. But at the same time, it is in a lot of cultures. It's like, have you ever heard about the Saturn square? And so the person, owns. I saw an image of a square that you can read backwards, and you can read in not only backwards. You can read in all positions. Like, it was crazy because I didn't understand it. And it's true. The Saturn square, you gotta see it, Google Saturn square. If you don't know what I am talking about, you have to, because I am talking about things that you have to know a little bit about it, at least, to understand it. Because that is the thing about Tenet, Some people, they said that they didn't like the movie because what was the point? Okay, the guy, he can enter in another reality, and this reality is backwards, and then you can go in the past, and okay, people were talking about it, but people were not talking about the Saturn square. And I was like, guys, you gotta know about the Saturn square to understand it, because I'm going to write it, Saturn square, because when you know about the Saturn square, you are going to understand what the movie is talking about, is trying to tell you, okay? And I love it that the beginning of the movie is in an opera, an opera house. And I was like, that's so perfect, because we have the word opera inside of the Saturn square. And that was the first time that I said, oh, okay. His intro, he's like, okay, he's telling me that he's going to use all the elements of the Saturn square. I'm ready for the journey, baby. So let's do it. And when we are presented to this concert, we have two groups there. We don't know yet that they are the inverse group and the inverse. Yeah, you can say it, the opposites. Okay, the opposites. I don't know. You can say they are the they use the red and blue in a scene, like the red group and the blue group, okay? But I'm going to say we have the reverse group and we have the group that is in our reality, okay? Our like so Nolan, good job, okay? Because it's complicated. Oh my goodness. So the thing is, that's our first contact with this group. And then we know that something very strange is going on. Like, what's going on? The bullet was, what is that? And as the protagonist, we don't know what's going on, And then later on, we discovered with the protagonist, we are with him, we are with him. You have to remember this. The protagonist, the main character's name in this movie, we don't know, because the name of the main character is the protagonist, because he's representing us. We are the protagonist. We are the tenant in our Saturn square, okay? So he knows now that he is the tenant. And this scene is so good because there is a conversation and the guy the guy says, you are the tenant. And in Portuguese, the translation was, you are o princípio. O princípio, like in English, it was like, you are the starting point, In Portuguese, the translation was, you are o princípio. Like in English, you could say, you are the beginning. You are the starting point. You are the beginning, And okay. And he says, okay, yeah, I am the tenant. Okay. And so he knows, he works for Sia. Is Sia? I don't remember. I know that he's a secret agent. Yeah. And it's interesting because all of a sudden he's inside of a lab and there is the figure of the crazy, the mad scientist. I'm kidding, But yeah, it's kind of the mad scientist, that we have this image, in all movies. So there is a woman and she's going to present him the new discovery, that things are coming from the future. And he's like, okay, can you show me an example of, and then there is the scene of the bullet. And he says, I don't get it. And she says, you don't have to think. You just have to imagine that you are receiving. You're not letting go. You are receiving because it's from the future. So if it's from the future, you are receiving. You see, you are not throwing it because it's not going to the future. It's coming from the future. And so he says, okay, yeah. Oh, I got it. It's instinct. And that was the explanation. It is instinct. And then you're going to tell me, why didn't, why they said it was instinct? Why they didn't, they could have used the word time. But instead of using time to talk about future and past, they said instinct. I don't get it, because instinct is something that you don't have to think, you just feel. So that's the part that you have to say, Nolan's. You're good. Nolan's mind is, of course, it's not only Nolan. There is a lot of people behind Nolan, okay, whatever. But, that is fantastic because he's telling us, forget about time. Believe in your guts. It's instinct. It's not about a rational thing. Forget it. You have to feel it. So feel it. Don't think too much. You have to sense it. It's not going to be a very scientific and, forget it. Forget about the crazy formula, the scientific explanations, forget about it. It's instinct. You just have to feel it, baby. And then he got the bullet. And we got the bullet too. But now that we have the bullet in our hands, we have to walk the path. And to walk the path, we have to know the person who commands the path. We have to know Mr. Saturn. Yeah, Mr. Saturn. Yeah. Because we want to know the options in the way. We want to know the rotas, and I'm going to use the word rotas, because it's ROTAS, like in the Saturn square. Rotas. To know this, you have to know Mr. Saturn, because he is the one who has the key. Okay, so we are introduced to Mr. Saturn, which is not a very good person, but he says that he is not a villain too. He just said that I know how to operate, how can we use it? The flow of time. Yeah, the flow of time. I know how to operate the flow of time, and you don't. So it makes me, you know, a wiser person. But to be very honest, Mr. Satter, he just know how to operate the routes, the path, the ways, but he doesn't know much about the essence because he's not the protagonist. Do you remember? Our protagonist now he has to understand what Mr. Satter already knows about this flow of time and how to operate it. It's interesting because he is in this movie the bad guy, but at the same time, he is the great teacher because the protagonist he has to learn what Mr. Satter does very well. He has to understand how he does it. And then he has a friend that helps him. His name is Neil in this movie. And this name sounds so similar to another name that comes from another movie that talks about the Matrix. Was it a coincidence? I don't know. Let's just wonder. Okay. Anyway, Neil, he is the friend. He is the one, who is going to go with our protagonist, through this journey of knowledge, because it is a journey of knowledge, of enlightenment. If you thought that you were watching a movie that was not talking about knowledge and enlightenment, I'm so sorry, but it was. You just have to watch it again and again and again and again and again. I'm just kidding. Okay. So we have now Neil. And Neil seems to know more than what he tells us, because we are the protagonists too. But okay, we trust Neil, because Neil is like that shoulder that we need, that angel that we need during our journey. We can trust him, and we trusted him. We gotta trust him to go on. And there are a lot of adventures in this movie. There are a lot of beautiful scenes. There is the plot, that involves Cat, the lady in red. Why was she dressed in a red clothing? I don't know. Maybe I'm just, but the lady in red, it's typical. Okay, so we have Cat and the plot and a lot of things going on and all the beautiful and all the fantastic, filmmaking of Mr. Nolan. And we have the sound. The sound in this movie is very good. We have all the cinematography going on, all these things. And our protagonist, he is in his journey. And of course, he's going to fight the good battle. And there is a very good scene that is remarkable because everybody was talking about that scene. There is a scene that there is two groups, the blue one and the red one. The ones that were following the time as we know the time, and the other group, who was in reverse. Okay. But to be honest, the group in reverse, if you were from the group in reverse, if you looked at the other group, if you look at them, you would think that they were in reverse and not you. You see? So, this thing of being in reverse depends on our perspective. Because if someone from the future comes to 2020, he's going to tell me, you are from the past. And I'm going to look at him and say, no, I'm sorry, you are saying that I am from the past. But I am living the present in my time, in my path. I am living the present right now. And you are telling me that I am living the past? No, I am living the past from your perspective. So it's just it depends on your perspective. It doesn't matter if you are the reverse group or if you are, doesn't matter. It depends on your perspective. But we understand that to access all these different, realities, but in this movie, the reverse or the normal one, you have to go through the roots, the rotas. And there is a scene, oh, Nolan, again, he uses the words that are in the Saturn square. All the words are there in the movie. And there is a scene that we have the word rotas, and you can read rotas, and it's so good because you already know Tenet, opera, rotas, Saturn. And then if you know the Saturn square, you start to see the pieces of this big puzzle. We have Saturn, we have Tenet, we have opera, we have rotas, and now you are the protagonist. Don't forget it. You have all the words. You know the words. You know the pieces of this puzzle. But the thing is, you have to know how to operate it to win this game. And our protagonist, he's going to learn it. And in the end of the movie, which is fabulous, he says, very emphatic, by the way, he stressed the word. He's in the car And there is a woman who, by the way, didn't want to help him because she's dressed in white in some scenes, and you have to observe that she is the person who doesn't want to get involved, you know. Sometimes we have this, like it's not black, it's not white, it's just somebody who doesn't want to get involved, who doesn't want, and it's okay, It's not that she's wrong in the movie or she's bad, you know. She just have a different perspective. She thinks that he's not going to change anything, you know. But he believes that he's going to change a lot of things because he's the protagonist. Again, it's like you are living your life and somebody says, you see, all this effort that you are doing for this paper, to deliver to your professor, for example. All of this, come on, to be very honest, it doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean anything. It's just another paper that you're going to, and you just say to your friend or to the person that said it, that told you this, you just say, it doesn't matter if you are telling me that it's not important. For me, it is. So I am doing it because I'm doing it because I need to do it. It's important for me. So remember, he is the protagonist. You are the protagonist. Doesn't matter if 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 I am here talking 2 hours and almost 30 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes almost, it doesn't matter if somebody just, Jack, you are talking for 2 hours about Nolan's movie themes and nobody's going to listen to you or nobody is going to like your live or spread or share it. And I just say, okay, to this person, okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. But for me, it's important. For me, it's part of my pathway. I am the protagonist of my life, not you, baby. So I gotta do it. You see? So there is the scene that he is inside of the car and he says, I am the protagonist. And this scene is amazing because we knew that he was the tenant. And now we know that he is the protagonist. So all that happened in that movie, since the beginning, since the moment he was the tenant, it was his story because he was the protagonist, as you are the protagonist. You are. And it's very, very important because it makes you unique. And when you think about how important is being unique, you start to think that I gotta think in my way. I gotta do things because these things are important to my progression in life, to my evolution, you know, it's important because I am the protagonist of my life. So I know that people were talking that, this movie is about politicians, this movie is about politics. Okay, we are living a moment that everybody's about. Everything is okay. All right. This is the moment that we are living now. Okay, everything is very like two poles, apart. Everybody's like fighting. Okay, yeah. Okay, human race. Okay, we are going to overcome this. Okay, but now we are living this. Yeah, everything is. But don't forget, okay, that you are not just part of a group of ideas that maybe you just are there thinking like that because somebody told you that you gotta think like that, you know, because you are unique, you know, have your own ideas, develop your potential, okay, because that's your path, you know. And I know that everybody who was the first time that they had the contact with the Saturn Square, they were Googling. Oh, it's difficult to say it. They were looking at Google. Yeah, it's difficult to say it. They were looking at Google about the Saturn Square. And I'm going to be I'm just going to give you a short lines what the words mean, Saturn, could be planter, founder, progenitor, yeah, progenitor. But literally, it's like the cedar. And usually there is this divine idea behind it. So it's interesting. Okay, Wikipedia, guys, okay? All right, so I like to think about the word cedar. Cedar, originator, the originator, And arepo is a noun. It's a noun, yeah. Nobody knows what arepo means. Because arepo could be likely a proper name, either invented or perhaps from Egyptian origin. So there is a character in this movie that we don't know his origin. We don't know him very well, but we trust him. I think that Neil is our arepo. Think about it, okay? I'm just, Then we have Tenet, okay, the protagonist. And what does Tenet mean? Tenet, from tenere, to hold. He, she, it holds. She, he, it keeps. Comprehends, possesses. Masters, preserves, sustains. So, Tenet is the one who holds, keeps, comprehends, masters. You know, he's the protagonist. And we have opera, that could be work, care, labor, you know. And we have rotas, rotas, that could be wheels, you know. But I go a little bit further because rotas in Portuguese, it's very clear because it comes from you know, it's Latin. So rotas we understand as path, as a pathway, you know. So in English, you can think about rotas because in the movie it's from these different rotas that they can inverse and reverse and whatever in the movie. So think about pathway, okay? And we have the words Saturn, Arepo, Tenet, Opera, Rotas. And if you look at the Saturn square, you're going to see that you can read it in many ways. It's not only from, you know, from right to the left or left to the right. You can even see it vertical. You can see it from side to side. It's so interesting. Just go and look at it, okay? Research, look at it, okay? And our movie is now illustrated completely by this beautiful enigma that is the Saturn square. Nolan, he used all the words in the Saturn square. And if you observe, he even gave us the meaning behind each one of these words. Watch the movie again, now with a different perspective. If you ask me, why is this square so important? You are the protagonist. So I can tell you, it's going to be different for you as it's going to be different for me, because I am the protagonist of my story and you are the protagonist of your story. So I can tell you what is the meaning of this square for you. You gotta be the tenant. You gotta be the protagonist and learn how to operate it. All right. So guys, Nolan is a very good director. Yes, indeed. Okay, there is no way of saying that he's not, you know, because he's dealing with things that are very complicated. Because as I said in the beginning of this live, he is talking about abstract things in a way that he's kind of trying to illustrate, to paint, you know, the things that are abstract, that are in another place of thinking, you know. It's not something that you gotta have the guts. You gotta have the instinct. It's not just something that you're going to understand using only your mind, rational mind, you know. You gotta dive in. You gotta go deep and deep and deep. It's something that for some people could be considered magic. I don't know, you know. But the thing is, he is working with all of these things. And I think that he's doing a good job, you know. So I needed to talk about it. And you're going to ask me, why, Jack? Why, Jackie? You need to talk. Why you know, because I was watching all the reviews about Tenet, and people were only talking about the action scenes, the effects, how beautiful it was, that scene. And I was like, guys, are you forgetting about the Saturn Square? Okay, let's talk about the Saturn Square because the movie is about the Saturn Square. Okay? And I was like, oh my goodness, nobody's going to talk about the Saturn Square. Hello? Okay. But to talk about it, I had to guide you, my friend, that is watching it or is going to watch it in the future or in the past. I don't know. Anyway, I had to guide you through these movies since Inception. I could start in Memento, you know, amnesia in Portuguese. I think in English is Memento. Yes, but then it was, no, it's going to be 4 hours of life. Okay, no. Let's start in Inception. By the way, start Inception is a very good way because of the word. Do you remember what I said? Okay, what I told you guys? So I had to guide you guys, you know, to finish, you know, in this, you know, beautiful illustration of something that is considered a hidden secret, a hidden mystery, a something occult, something, you know, that nobody, you know, knows very well. Oh no, where does it come from? You know, I had to guide you to understand what is Tenet, okay? What is the message behind? But to be very honest, I'm not saying anything to you because you are the protagonist. And if you understood what I was trying to tell you, now you know that you are the one who is going to be the tenant. And you need this. Nobody's going to be the protagonist of your life. Just do it. Okay? All right. So thank you, guys. Oh my goodness. 2 hours and 4 minutes. Yeah. But okay. I just needed to say, I needed to talk about this because nobody was talking about the Saturn Square, and it was so it was there, it was written. All the words were there. And Christopher Nolan, he did a very good job, a very good job. I thought that I was like, my goodness, he's going to do an action movie about the Saturn Square. I was like, how inventive is it going to be? But when I saw the movie, I saw it more than one time, of course. And when I saw the movie, I was like, oh gosh, he got it. If you didn't like the movie, I'm so sorry. Maybe you don't know. Um, I understand you because maybe you were expecting an action movie, very, and it was not because the action there is the action of our lives, you know. You are the protagonist. I'm sorry to tell you that, but you are, you know. He did a movie that we are the protagonists. I'm so sorry if you didn't feel like the protagonist. Maybe it's not the time. But to be honest, it's time something real. You can tell me later. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you. Oh my goodness, the clock is marking 2:20. It's very Kabbalistic. Yeah. Okay. I think that now it's time to finish for sure. Absolutely. 2:20. So thank you so much. As I always, stress here, I wish you much love, much joy, and peace. Okay. And if you can, share this live, give me your like, and subscribe to my channel. Because here we talk about all of things. Some things they are a little bit weird, but we like it. Okay, so thank you so much and see you guys. Thank you, Lafayette. Thank you so much. Okay, yes. Thank you, guys. Bye bye. See ya. I don't know if I said it correct. Lafayette. Okay. Thank you. Bye bye. See ya. Bye.